good evening. This is Dr. Jenny Yusuf, physical therapist and Doctor of Physical Therapy, creator and founder of Balance and Fall Support Group in Aging Adults. And I'm also the Physiogen PT and Wellness President and the Balance and Falls in Aging Support Group in Facebook. So every Thursday, we do an innovations and also interview academicians, authors, and different therapists, occupational therapists, and different even scientists. We even have audiologists at one point. But tonight, we're going to interview an author and, of course, a professor or teacher for more than 15 years for us, like physical therapists and exercise expert. He is also the co-founder of the and president of Functional Aging Institute. And now we will talk about more about the Marbles Brain Body Fitness franchise. It is a gym and how it's different than the other fitness gym out there, So we got to know more about Dr. Cody Sipe, and he's a PhD and of course a diploma of American College of Lifestyle Medicine. So that's it. Remember, lifestyle medicine, how important it is. And we'll talk more about it. Dr. Cody, thank you so much for this opportunity. I know you're very busy, but thank you for dropping by.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yes, my pleasure. So we have amazing Functional Aging Institute. We learn about that. You have amazing courses and seminars. Thank you for the book that you always shared with us. But what is new right now? I know that I heard about with the Marbles, Brain Body Fitness. And I know Dr. Mike Studer as well. Thank you for sharing those things. But what is it new about the Marbles?
Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of different kind of gym ideas and fitness concepts that are on the market today, and some of them kind of serve older adults a little bit more than the others. But there really aren't any brain gyms for older adults to really go to. And so the whole idea, the whole concept behind Marbles is to be a brain first fitness center so that we can really focus on an impact on cognitive function, especially trying to either delay or prevent Alzheimer's disease or even any sort of cognitive decline that may come as people get older. So at its core, that's what it is. Marbles is really a first of its kind brain gym concept that we've kind of put together from A to Z to really try to serve a wide group of older adults that are very concerned about their cognitive health as they're getting older.
Yeah. Why do you think, Dr. Cody, you focus on more on dementia, more on brain function? So we have many neurological issues, Parkinson's disease, MS, and other stroke rehab. But why brain itself, which is overall intercorrelates with whatever I just said, right?
Right, absolutely. Well, I'm sure you're well aware, the aging population is really exploding. We're right at the beginning of it. And when you look out at the projections for the next 20, 30, even 50 years, the 65 plus population is still growing, especially in the US and many other places around the world. But one thing that's also starting to happen is the older adult population is getting older itself.
Yes.
So here in just a few years, around 2030, the boomers are going to start to turn 85. And that's when we see the 85 plus population, who we typically kind of call the oldest old, that population really starts to take off. So there's this massive aging population. And because they're also getting older, what we're seeing is that the projections for Alzheimer's disease and cognitive decline are really accelerating, and they're off the charts. The predictions are not good for this group. They're predicting 1 out of 6, so almost 20% of all older adults having dementia or some sort of cognitive impairment. And then 1 out of 2, 50% of 85 plus year olds developing dementia. And so we're talking about a huge impact on society, on people's lives that really doesn't have to happen in many cases, because we know that lifestyle is the key driver behind Alzheimer's disease and related dementias. So yes, there's a genetic component to it, but probably 3 to 4 times more powerful is lifestyle.
That's
But
true.
right now, we don't have any place for people to go to really get a brain first experience. And so we have got these projections that don't look good. We have an older adult population that really isn't that active. They're more active than previous generations, but still as a whole, they're still relatively inactive because they don't want to go to a lot of your typical gyms. They don't see themselves, they're worried about getting hurt and they're worried about being embarrassed. They don't know what to do. And so we wanted to create an environment that is really welcoming for people like that who really they want to improve their physical abilities. They know that's important, but they're really driven and motivated by their brain health. And we see in survey after survey of older adults that brain health is their top fear about getting older. When you look at the 80 plus population, 80% or more rank that as their primary concern, right? It's their biggest concern. So we know there's huge interest in preserving your brain function and your cognitive health. And so, but again, not a lot of places that you can go that really focus on that and put that first.
Yeah, and I really like how I saw the video and I'm familiar with some of the materials and balance training that you use there. Definitely using the cognitive training exercises, you're really physically moving. It's
That's
not
right.
like you're just sitting and doing those puzzle or word game, that's how we understood as the cognitive exercises. But these
Exactly.
are
Yeah.
really physical and you mix it. It's like dual training, cognitive training physically, and overall it improves the balance, but you've really focused on that brain health. So that's really good. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, the most effective types of interventions that we're seeing are really what you refer to, kind of that dual task, those cognitive motor types of approaches. In fact, there's a systematic review that is going to be in publication soon. I wasn't a part of that, but I was able to see it, and it looked at all the different interventions for improving cognition in older adults. And
Mhm.
they found that dual tasking is really getting the most robust effects. And that's what we focus on. We focus on especially a lot of high tech dual tasking activities, but also low tech, very practical dual tasking activities as well. So, yeah, you have to move. You can't just sit there and do crossword puzzles or Sudoku or do a video game with no movement. We know there's benefit to that. Like it will, even with the video training, right? That can work to improve very specific aspects of your cognition, but we don't see any carryover into daily life. We don't see any carryover into Alzheimer's prevention because you got to move, right? And that's what your brain wants to do. It wants you to move. So we are trying to get people to move, but also then think at the same time to really maximize the impact on their brain function.
Yeah, from the name itself, Dr. Cody, why marbles? That's why I'm thinking it's like a small gem. When you told me about that, there's a new franchise, Brain Body Franchise Gym, and then marbles. Of all names, why marbles? But with the logo itself, I can see where is it coming from. But
Right.
why
Yeah.
is it marbles?
The founder, Greg Blanchard, he kind of came up with this idea. You've heard the phrase, don't lose your marbles, right? You don't want to lose your marbles. You don't want to lose your brain function as you get older. And so he really wanted to have this concept of, no, we want you to keep your marbles. And in fact, we really want you to kind of add to them, right? We just don't want you to maintain where you are. We know through good interventions, we actually improve, right? We can improve your processing speed, your memory, right? Your executive functions, your inhibition. We can improve all that. And so that's a way to kind of keep your marbles. So that's where the whole title kind of
Oh,
came from.
okay. What I'm thinking is like the gems. You remember that like it's a gems is like your marbles.
Yeah.
So and I see the logo is pretty and then I see the marbles there. So yeah, that's how I understand the marbles. And how about the framework or where is this how about the principles of the marbles brain body fitness correlates? What's the core? Can you share
Yeah.
it about that?
So I mentioned kind of being a brain first facility, but obviously in the name, we're talking brain body, right?
Mm.
So that idea of kind of dual tasking is at the central core. So Dr. Mike Studer, who obviously is very well known in this area, very well rewarded, he is kind of taking control of our whole assessment and programming algorithm
Mhm.
so that we can really try to maximize the result for individuals. So when they come in, they're going to do some assessments and some evaluation to try to figure out what they need. And then the programming will flow from that, in order to try to maximize their both physical and their cognitive capabilities. But we do want to take a brain first approach. So what you don't see in a Marvel's facility is you don't see your typical weightlifting equipment. You don't see those typical free weights. You don't see the treadmills and all that. That's not a part of what we're all about. We know that's beneficial, right? People working out is beneficial, but we understand that most people aren't, right? Or there are things they can do on their own that help to augment what they're going to be doing in a Marvel's facility. So the whole concept is built around a lot of the research that shows even 2 to 3, 20 to 30-minute dual tasking sessions a week can effectively improve cognitive function. So that's kind of the model we're using is people will come in for either 2 or 3 20 to 30-minute sessions. They'll go through their entire routine of dual task training. And so that's kind of the core of what we do. Now, beyond that, we want to be holistic because we know what we still want people to eat healthy, to sleep well, to exercise outside of the facility, to be social. So when you look at all those components that are important for brain health and prevention of dementia, we are kind of a resource and a support and facilitator of those different aspects of as well. So there's going to be a lot of education that we're going to provide to our members in a lot of different ways, both kind of live and online education, where they can then zero in on the areas that they might be struggling with. Nutrition is a big area, right? People are very confused about nutrition. Well, there are some very basic principles that you can follow. Dr. Dean Ornish, right, just came out with a great study showing the potential, at least, for reversal of Alzheimer's disease, or at least the halting of the progression of Alzheimer's disease through intense comprehensive lifestyle change. So using those principles to help people really take control of their brain health and of their cognitive future. People need to understand there's a lot you can do to maximize your cognition and to avoid this terrible epidemic that we're facing of Alzheimer's disease. So we want to empower people and facilitate that kind of behavior change within our members.
Yeah, I totally agree that nutrition is really a big part of this. We always emphasize that. Lifestyle medicine, you know that very well, Dr. Cody. So we have nutrition, well-balanced diet, and of course, exercise. And then we have now that said that dementia is the excessive sugar in the brain. And then they also said we know that the diabetes, excessive sugar in our what they call this in our bloodstream, that's why it's like diabetes. So right now they said that studies have shown that that's how they name it now, excessive sugar in the brain for the Alzheimer's
Yeah,
disease.
type
So
3
when,
diabetes.
yeah, right, that.
Type 3 diabetes,
Yeah,
they're kind
oh,
of
I
referring
didn't
to
know
it.
that part. Now we have this type 3 diabetes. So that's really more on knowledge. And when you say that, who are the people, knowing that we are lifestyle medicine, we are exercise physiologists and exercise expert, physical therapist, occupation, who are the people who can work with the Marbles Brain Body Fitness gym?
Yeah. So we wanted to make this model as accessible as possible to everybody, both in opening a facility and running a facility, but also for the potential members, right? This epidemic is happening very, very quickly. And so we wanted to take fast action. So we've created a model that is very streamlined. And the goal is to take all of the expertise as we can out of the hands of the actual person running the facility, whether that's the owner operator or the staff that they have, so that we can then provide the expertise for them and make it easier for them to run the facility. So you don't have to be a physical therapist or an occupational therapist in order to run this. You could be a retired person who just
Okay.
has an interest. And we go through a very specific training platform
Mm-hmm.
to get you up to speed on right here. You need to get a brain fitness certification. You need to have there's some basic knowledge and skills that you need to know in order to work in the facility. But the idea is you don't need high-end personal trainers. You don't need medical personnel. That you can run this pretty easily with just very, I'm going to say, basic qualifications. And so in order to do that, we've had to really streamline what the whole model is about and focus in on who we really want to serve. This is not rehabilitation, right? It's not for people that have documented Alzheimer's disease. It's not for people who have, suffered a stroke or, potentially have, lingering effects from some neurological insult. However, it doesn't mean those people can't work out there, but they need to be rather independent when they work
Okay.
out.
High functional.
So yeah, so they're not when they come in, they're going to have their program built for them. We will show them how to use use the equipment and follow their specific program.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody will always be available on the floor supervising them at all times, but it's going to be a group, right? You might have 8 people, they're each doing their own workout, and someone is supervising and they're helping and they're assisting and they're making modifications, answering questions, but it's not intense one-on-one instruction. So I think this is, especially a great extension from the physical therapy world because we deal with this all the time. And I talk to physical therapists about this all the time. Is like, where do you send people once they're done? Like you're a believer in dual task and neurorehabilitation, then what do? You just send them to your local gym or tell them to kind of work out on their own. And that's well and good. But what if you had a place where you could send them where they're actually getting some evidence-based dual task intervention to continue all the progress that you've already made with these individuals. So while you don't have to be a PT to run a facility like this, we are really looking for some good collaboration and connections with physical therapists because not only are we going to have people that we want from PT to come in and benefit from the Marbles model, there's also going to be people that come in that you're like, we're probably not the place for you right now. You need to go see a physical therapist. I think you may have from our screening, you may have Alzheimer's disease. Maybe you need to go get screened and evaluated further. So we want to also be a kind of a community resource to send people out to other professionals in the community as well that can serve them better.
Yeah, that's really good. So overall, it's a wellness, and then also we want to be more on the prevention side, and at the
Yeah,
same time more on the maintenance because after they do some training, and then that's really good because also on the what do you call being the ownership or the franchise part, you doesn't need to finish bachelor's degree more than how many years of doctorate just to have this, and you just need to have a passion of doing this task and help other people. And then you will
absolutely.
provide
Yeah.
the certification and training. So that's
Hmm.
a good news for that. And then now you open also the pathway for everybody who wants to do more, that wants to be more on improving their cognitive function,
Yeah.
so they want to okay, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really good. So thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who know they need to do something. They're concerned about their brain health, but they just haven't found the right place to go. They don't go to normal gyms. They probably don't work out on their own. Maybe they walk a little bit. There are just millions of people like that in the US that need a stimulation of this is the place you can go where you can really put your brain first, but you're going to get physical benefits as well, right? You're going to improve your cardiovascular fitness, your strength, your balance, because the dual tasking, you're working on cognition, but you're
Mhm.
working on these physical aspects as well. The great thing though is it just doesn't feel like your typical workout because when you're so engaged cognitively, you have a lot of fun. The time flies by. And so we really want this to be a gateway for a lot of those individuals that would probably never go to your typical gym anyway.
Yeah. So this is like, of course, they don't need to go to the doctor or prescription just because this is just like a daily typical like YMCA, but this is only the brain. We don't need those treadmill and bike or exercises. You just want to do more training, cognitive function, and of course the what we call as neuroplasticity, of course, right? That's what we
Right.
keep educating for that. And why do you think, Dr. Cody, this will be successful?
Well, for many of the reasons that we've kind of hit on already is the brain health and fitness industry is just exploding right now. And one of the primary drivers is our aging population and the concern about brain health. And so when you look at all these different aspects, like you can look at the apps on your phone and how many brain fitness apps there are now, all the brain health supplements, that market is taking off, the technology that's coming out, even the technology we are using in marbles. Well, it's kind of been around a while, but now it's really starting to take off because people are aware that their brain is something that they can improve and they need to improve if they really want to have a healthy life as they move forward, enjoy good quality of life as they get older. So all those are really driving a lot of attention towards brain health and fitness. So I know that there's a need for this. I know that people are excited about it. Everywhere I go and I talk about the concept, people are just like, oh my gosh, I love that idea. I love the concept. I would love to do that. And so we know there's a big opportunity here, but the business model is also important, right? How you structure your business. It's like just because people like a certain type of restaurant doesn't mean that restaurant's going to be successful. It's because it's how you run your business. And so that's where Dan and I have lots of experience working in the fitness industry of what works and what doesn't, especially when it comes to an older adult population. So everything about the business has really focused on that population, the marketing, the sales, the layout, the design, kind of the staffing, everything is focused on that population and really trying to make a very lean, efficient business model. A lot of businesses, they just get they're too big, and if you're too big right from the beginning, you have too much lease, you have too much build out costs, and you're kind of setting yourself up to fail. So we really take a very strategic approach. I mean, our basic blueprint for our facility is only 1,250 square feet. It's a very small storefront and go in a strip mall. You can get bigger than that, but
Mhm.
that's all you need to really have a successful and highly profitable business serving this population.
Wow. Dr. Cody, you said this is a Marbles Brain Body Fitness franchise. So let's say I'm from Delaware and I will do a franchise. So I just connect with you and I will build that, and then I'll look for a place that, and then you will just assist me with what more on even the machine itself, because I know you're using a smart fit for the
Yep.
cognitive
Mhm.
exercises, right?
Yes.
So what is the
Yeah. So the
franchise correlates, I mean,
yeah, so
included.
the benefits of working with a franchise instead of like just going out and opening your own, like, oh, I like the idea, I'm gonna open my own brain gym, is that you have kind of all the systems already in place to help you be successful. And you have a team that's
Mhm.
devoted to supporting you to make sure you're successful. So we have built out everything that an individual needs in order to be successful, opening, launching, and sustaining that business over a long period of time. So anybody that's interested, all they have to do is contact us. We certainly would start with, we want you to watch kind of some of our webinar stuff that we've done so you understand kind of the basics of the model and the opportunity. And then we just start talking with you and we say, okay, what is your situation? What questions do you have about the model? Where would you think about opening one? And then we start that process of, here's all the things that we are building in to help you be successful. Now let's look at you. Do you have what it takes to be successful, right? As a potential franchisee. So we're vetting each other in that process, making sure it's a good match. And then we look at your local territory, see what the opportunity is there. If we feel like the demographics and the psychographics work really well, and then from there, we just continue to move forward and sign a franchise agreement and get you open.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Cody. You said to contact you, so how they can contact you.
Yes, my email, cody@marblesfitness.com, is the quickest way to get in touch with me, especially directly. You can go to marblesfitness.com and look through our material that we currently have, and we're still building out our website, but there's some good videos on there and good information to help get you started. And that will also, if you haven't seen one of our webinars, you can get on there and join one of our webinars as well.
Thank you. So guys, thank you so much. And also Dr. Cody also supported us for the Geriatric Rehab Summit coming this weekend. And also they will going to present with Dr. Mike Studer this coming Innovator Summit on December. So we would like you to join us And if you want to learn more, webinars are all free. The certification, of course, if you want to learn more, contact Dr. Cody and to connect with him. This is really interesting. This is really new. And thank you for sharing this wonderful opportunity, Dr. Cody.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You are welcome. So, guys, if you have any questions, connect with us. And definitely, Dr. Cody, last one remark. What's your tip for our listeners to improve their balance and decrease falls?
Tips for improving balance? Oh
Of
gosh.
course, your best exercise, let's say, that you do.
Well,
Of
it's hard to
course,
have a best exercise because everybody's so different.
that's
What's
true.
challenging for one person isn't challenging for another person. But what I would say, I really like dynamic movements more than just static movements. So instead of just like trying to stand on one leg, try to do something more dynamic with your balance. And that could be more weight shifting, stepping in different directions, up, down, over, around different objects. And that seems to be one of the best ways to try to improve your balance.
That's true. Yeah. So instead of just brushing your teeth with both feet, do one leg stance, brush, and makeup at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. You could.
That's dynamic, guys. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Cody. We learned a lot from you. And thank you for always contributing amazing things, innovations for us. We salute you and thanks for this opportunity. We
All right. Thank
appreciate you,
you.
Dr. Cody. Okay, bye guys. So if you have any questions, connect with us, Balance and Fall Support Group, and also the Marbles. Dr. Cody is connected with Cody at marblesfitness.com. And I will put all the link on once we post this. All right. Thank you guys. Have a good night. Bye, Dr. Cody. We appreciate you.
You're welcome.